One of the biggest culture shocks for me was Amazon Prime, and it destroyed my credit card and my level of patience. Why, Amazon? Why? What up everyone, Kari's Maggie here and welcome back to my channel where I encourage you to submerge yourself in culture and live meaningful lives. So for those of you who are new on my channel, I basically promote cultures and countries through lived experiences. As someone who has lived in over 4 countries, I can definitely say that one thing all these places had in common is the culture shock. In this video, I'm going to break down the 5 stages of culture shock using my personal experiences of all the different countries I've lived in. Stay tuned! So the first question we have to ask ourselves is, what is culture shock to begin with? Culture shock is the feeling of disorientation experienced by someone who's suddenly subjected to an unfamiliar culture, way of life, or set of attitudes. So the first stage is known as the honeymoon phase. Pretty self-explanatory. You know what it's like when you go to a new place. It's all about the new adventure, the new people you'll meet, the new memories, all those things. You're like pretty much on cloud 9. So that's essentially what the honeymoon phase is like. I can admit that I didn't really have a honeymoon phase when I was moving to Belize because I kinda didn't really want to leave Jamaica. And I had various reasons for why, but also because I didn't even really know what to expect with Belize. I did as much research as I could, but still it felt like I wasn't really prepared for what the experience was gonna be like. Over time, of course, I adapted, I got to meet a lot of cool people, and the experience overall was a great one, I would say. The same can be said when I just moved to Canada. It was my first time being on my own for like good. So that in itself was an exciting time for me naturally. And yeah, I was just looking forward to starting this new milestone in my life. Hostility and irritability. This is the second stage. Now, this will start to happen for various reasons. Now, if you're someone who's from the tropics and then you move to Canada, you'll notice that you feel this hostility and, annoyance when it comes to change in the weather. So if you went there during the summer and then all of a sudden you feel it getting a bit colder during the fall, and then all of a sudden winter comes and it's snowing and it's like, what is this? Like, it's something you're not used to. Definitely that can make the experience miserable if you're not used to, knowing how to experience it and how to enjoy it. So for some people, how they would enjoy winter is that they would do winter activities like skiing and snowboarding and snowshoeing and all those things to make the experience a bit less miserable. Because believe it or not, winter was around for about 3 to 4 months half the time. For some provinces, even more. Another reason why you could feel this way is you've gone to this new place and more than likely the food, stuff like that, is not going to be the same. So I remember when I just moved to Belize didn't have any like international fast food restaurants. Everything was local. Any fast food you went to, it was a local fast food restaurant. After a while, I grew to have a respect for the people because definitely I've never heard of a country not having international restaurants or fast food. So that was actually admirable to me. And after a while, I got used to eating the local food. And to this day, it's definitely something that I crave from time to time. Even sometimes I find myself whipping up, some of it my own. I try a little thing, chefing it up in the kitchen, make some ceviche, some tacos, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I can get that. So all in all, this time period is when you're probably questioning your decision, like, why did I move here? Why did I make the decision? This was so dumb. Like all these, things that sometimes it's out of fear, sometimes it's out of frustration, and sometimes it's all of the above. But yeah, definitely expect to have this experience for sure. I want you to pause right now and let me know in the comment section below. Let me know of an instance where you experienced stage 2 being hostile or feeling hostility or irritability. Let me know of an example of that in your own experience. The third phase is the gradual adjustment, and this is going to depend from person to person. For some people it might take a couple hours, a few days. From some people it might be months. For others it might be years. So it definitely varies from person to person. It's going to depend on the person, mainly because it depends on the level of shock that the person was exposed to and how they have managed to cope with that shock. So, of course, if you're someone who you move somewhere new, and for example, the culture shock for you is that you don't really know English that well and it's hard for you to communicate as you would like. For some people, it might be a very, unpleasant time. Instead of not interacting with people who do speak English fluently or doing classes or attending conversational classes, and if you decide to just stay by yourself and just isolate yourself, that will make the adjusting period a bit more harder. So it's advisable to find different ways for you to cope and adjust, but definitely be patient with yourself, because again, it's going to vary from person to person and experience to experience. Stage number 4 is adaptation, which comes directly after you have gotten to, gradually adjusting. So adaptation now, basically, it's self-explanatory. You have that adapt. You're used to the food, you're used to the weather, you're used to the people, their mannerism, all these things, and you have now claimed this place as your new home. You have a new sense of belonging. And yeah, so now you're a bit more into the groove, so you know how the transportation system works. Anything that used to annoy you in the beginning, you have grown to like love it and just appreciate it. And yeah, you're working through the motions a bit more comfortably. One thing I'd advise is never force yourself to adapt, which is why I kept repeating in the third stage that you need to allow yourself to, get used to the environment, because it's going to vary from person to person. So for some of us, you might see other people adapting differently or very quickly, and it makes you feel frustrated. Forcing it will never work. So just be patient with yourself, take your time, and it will eventually come. And the final stage is re-entry travel shock. And basically, this just means when you return home. So for individuals like myself, if you're from the Caribbean or if you're from Africa as well, you know that we have this sense of mannerism and, just manners that we have towards people that are older than us. So one thing that, in fact, it gets a bit hard to adjust back to is calling people by, sir or Mr. or ma'am, because when you were in Canada or the US, you had grown people who were telling you to call them by your first name. So sometimes my parents would hear me calling like a grown-up person by their first name because I'm telling them a story, and they're like, what? It Mrs. or Miss. Like, after a while, of course, they got used to it, because after explaining to them what the culture was like in that aspect, people wanting you to just be very casual with them, they eventually got used to it themselves. So that is something definitely I would say a lot of us have noticed, and it's a bit hard to kind of go back into it when you go home. Let me know in the comment section below which one of these stages was the hardest for you, and also let me know in the comment section, when you went back home, what was an experience that you kind of found it hard to go back to that way of living because you were adapting so quickly and so well to the new culture that you experience. Let me know in the comment section below. I think for me, one of the things that's going to be very hard for me to adapt to, since we've been under lockdown and all of that, is the convenience of grocery delivery and Uber Eats and stuff like that, and Amazon. Before I end this video, I'm going to tell you guys about how Amazon destroyed my life. So Amazon I got when I was a student, and of course it didn't really work for me because I was living in Newfoundland. Amazon Prime in particular didn't really work with that one-day shipping, at least from my experience. So when I moved to Toronto, however, Amazon Prime, it was like magic to me. I would order something like right now, and then couple hours next day I get it. Like, that just blew my mind how already somebody would have my package ready. So I would say when I'm supposed to go back home or anything like that, if I'm to move from Canada, that is going to be something that if my place don't get their postal service up there, yeah, that gonna be very hard, because now it has taught me not to have patience. I just want it right now. And if I go on websites now and they have a certain delivery time and I notice Amazon Prime have it faster, who you think I'm going to order it from? Amazon Prime, of course, right? No wonder they're making so much money. Damn it. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and again, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate you for watching this video, and check out this lovely playlist that I have selected for you to watch if you're new to my channel. Don't forget to do road and do things, and until next time, Maggie is out.
How I want it, catch me dripping like the faucets.